All right, so welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We're turning now to European football. Well, the grand finale for this year's UEFA Champions League is now set in stone following today's mouth-watering semi-final second leg clash between European giants Real Madrid and Bayern Munich at the Santiago Bernabeu. And the nail-biting affair it was with the Champions League specialists, Los Blancos, who refused to allow it to be an all-German affair in this year's final. We relive all the drama with the highlights of the game.
For Rodrigo from Carvajal. What's going on at the other end at the moment? Ball did go out of play.
Carvajal into Vinicius Junior off the post. Great save by Neuer to deny Rodrigo. Extraordinary.
Self-fouled. Here's the chance again. Still won't see from that angle whether he made a save for the first one. The second one's a very good save, mind you.
Looking for Musiala, it's come to Harry Kane. Oh my goodness me! What a fabulous effort from Kane.
Effort that is, Harry Kane. Almost comes off Nacho, but there's the save you were talking about.
Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo! Oh.
Position. Can't go too early. Just adjust his feet and a good hand.
With a good turn, holding off Nacho, and a decent ball away to Davies. Davies picking up pace now, running at Carvajal. Deflected! Oh! And squeezing it into Rodrigo, couldn't squeeze it into the net. Vinicius Junior, brilliant feet and a superb save again. Rodrigo finding Harry Kane. Davies might be the pass. Kane might be the man to deliver it. Alphonso Davies here for Bayern Munich with time to look up. Musiala arriving. Sané. Oh, it's brilliant. Alphonso Davies with an absolute stunner for Bayern Munich.
Has a swing at it here, and he could not strike that any better.
Pulled back to Valverde and in.
Davies.
Bellingham. Vinicius Junior, Mendy overlapping, that's comfortable. Oh, Neuer dropped it, and Joselu scores!
Well, it's a real shame for Manuel Neuer. Actually hits him on the chest rather than going into his body and hands. And Joselu, how quick was he to react?
Modric corner. Kim only half away. Nacho of all people. Rudiger! It's 2-1, it's offside. It's not going to count. Joselu thought he'd won it.
Front of the ball, no, he wasn't in front of the ball. This could be turned around, this could be a goal.
Yeah, it could be. It's about the right shoulder of Joselu.
We're going to be talking about inches here.
Real Madrid have turned it around. Joselu with 2 goals.
Kim tried to come up and play offside, couldn't quite get there in time, and he was behind the ball as well. Joselu.
An absolute triumph. Forward from Masraoui. It's still not the final whistle.
Well, he said 2 minutes to go, a long time ago.
That is the final whistle. That is the final whistle. And Ancelotti has done it again.
All right, so let's hear what the coaches had to say.
I think the atmosphere at the stadium, our supporter, our football too, because I think we played well. Of course, they scored a fantastic goal. David scored a fantastic goal. We didn't lose mind. We were able to stay in the game, and at the end to have the energy to win. I think the tactical and technical aspect, we were good on the pitch against a really difficult team to play against, because they were really good in transition. But I think that we deserve to win.
Where does this belief come from? I mean, you have the feeling that you believe until the very end.
I think it comes from what happened in the past, the history of this club, the tradition, the player that did most of the time, and it happened again, and I think it's going to happen again here at the Bernabeu.
Because it's such a magical place?
It's a magical play. This is a magical club, a magical supporter. We are really pleased to give them happiness.
I think it's pretty clear and cannot be, in my opinion, any doubt that it's against every rule of modern football, what happened there. The first big mistake is from the linesman. He did it in an action in the overtime with Alphonso Davies. He did it also. He raised his flag straight away when we switched side to Alphonso Davies. I don't know if it was offside. I got a strange feeling. To raise the flag in a situation like this where you can never be sure that this is offside. To have the balls, to have the guts to raise the flag in a situation like this is a huge call, and it's a wrong call. The referee has the chance, when he sees that we win the second ball and we win the rebound and we get a shot away within 5 seconds, he has the chance not to whistle. He takes the decision to whistle. It's against every rule, I'm sorry.
All right, and upset Thomas Tuchel there lands, and of course Carlo Ancelotti saying that it's a magical club, magical fans, and of course, you know, the players doing magical things, and I think it's very, it's difficult to dispute what Ancelotti has said.
Yeah, you know what? Real Madrid keeps emphasizing their affinity to European success, because they were staring defeat in the face today, and they kept cool. They kept their composure. They kept their game plan. Ancelotti made changes that impacted the game, and Tuchel, we are hearing post-game now that he's furious about the refereeing decisions, which I don't think I picked up, you know, in a significant way. Certainly not in the way that he's suggesting, but he's hurting, and it's obvious why. Because I think even Manuel Neuer would be heartbroken. He had such an outstanding game outside of the ball that he dropped, that the goal with the rebound and got Real Madrid back in the game. So a tough loss here for Bayern Munich, for real, but Real Madrid are undisputed kings of Europe.
Yeah, and one man who would also be really happy because he got the prediction spot on. Let's hear what he had to say, producer, before we bring him in.
We're now. Give me a prediction, score-wise.
Well, if I were good at betting, I wouldn't be here.
Good save, but you have to give us one.
No, but I'm still going to go because I'm not putting any money in it, you know. And if it were Lance's money, I'd definitely pick wrong. So I'll have to go Real Madrid 2-1.
2-1 Real Madrid. So
yes, sir.
That would be 4-3 on aggregate.
And they come from behind to win it.
Oh boy! All right. So that would be
dramatic. Come on.
4-3 on aggregate.
All right, that man is Juan Giorango, and he was spot on. Good afternoon, Juan. How are you?
We're not hearing Juan.
Juan, we actually want to hear you this evening.
His audio is off, but that was a bang-on prediction that came from him yesterday. And
yeah, I you know what? I just wanted to stay silent because I think the silence would say a lot more than my words. But in all honesty, I would take a bow right now. But no, all that being said, I mean, no one in their wildest dreams would have thought that this match would have said. And trust me, if I would have picked Joselu getting a double, I would just call the producer and said, no, I'm leaving. I'm going to live in Jamaica instead of having to talk to you guys away in Jamaica. But that's a different story. And speaking of magic, and there's magical stories in all of this, because it's funny that a player that 2 years ago goes with a group of friends from Germany to Paris to go see Real Madrid play in the Champions League final, well, now ends up being the hero for Real Madrid, taking them to a Champions League final. Of course, I'm talking about Joselu, who ended up really captivating things. And you got to give credit to Carlo Ancelotti on this one, because he's the one that sees them where there needs to be a change. He makes changes. I mean, he takes out Federico Valverde, brings in Joselu. He also brings in Brahim Diaz, who immediately add another boost of energy to the team that needed it quite a bit. And well, they were very opportune and did a great job of being able to make things happen against a Bayern that looked solidified, but then towards the end, they kind of started to be a little bit too tenuous, and they paid for it at the Bernabeu.
I'm still in awe. I was stunned, when that goal, the equalizer, came from Joselu. I saw that image just now of Carlo Ancelotti, of course, receiving that kiss on his forehead, and I think it's more of, you know, yesterday we got some comments calling him Don Carlo. It's as if, you know, he's invincible, and whenever he makes these decisions, you can't question it because there's a reason behind these decisions, and they always bear fruit. My question, and I don't even know if you'll have an answer for it, how is he so good?
Well, a lot of great coaches, players have a good entourage, and the mastermind behind all of this, ironically, isn't necessarily Carlo Ancelotti. It's his son, Davide, who ends up really giving the little pointers in terms of what different tactics to use, what variations to those tactics need to be used, who needs to play, who needs to come in. I mean, we talk about players that are injured all the time and, oh, who's missing? I mean, Jude Bellingham, maybe he's not playing in his best form, but 2 hours before the match, he had to get his knee infiltrated for him to just play. So when you start to see, well, let's take him out. You can't. He wants to play. Davide Ancelotti sees that there's a certain purpose that he can fulfill, and he's been able to do that. And of course, the player that has grown the most under the Ancelottis, let's call him like that, is Vinicius Jr. because he's really taken it to another level at a point where some of the players that have gotten them there, Bellingham being one of them, can't do it anymore. So he says, you know, let me take care of it. Let me be the man of the match. Let me be the leader going forward. And that he ended up being in this encounter.
Yeah, and you know, we have to feel it for Bayern Munich because they came into this match, of course, a lot of people were rooting for them. Harry Kane, of course, not able to walk away with another trophy. We felt as if he got over the line today, he would just have to face Borussia Dortmund. Then you listen to Thomas Tuchel at the end of the match in that interview, and he seems very frustrated. And I want to cue in specifically to that goal that was not checked that he's talking about, and of course really disgruntled at the referees. Your take on what Thomas Tuchel explained in that soundbite?
It's completely legitimate, okay? And I'm going to explain why, because what he talked about is the protocol that's been established by IFAB, well, wasn't put in place there because first of all, the assistant referee immediately raises his flag, the referee immediately blows the whistle, and after the whistle's blown, then of course Bayern score, which completely invalidates any possibility for VAR to go and review. The way the protocol works, and here I don't know if it's onside or offside. Initially, I thought it was, but now I have my doubts. But we can't know anymore because the referee blew off the play. Therefore, it can't be reviewed. The actual protocol is to let the play go until the end, and if there is an offside, if there is some sort of violation or a foul or anything along those lines that's committed, VAR will indicate that. Oh yes, Mr. Referee, there was indeed an offside. No, Mr. Referee, there was no offside. Therefore, it is a goal. So you have to let VAR be involved in this, and the referee and the assistant referee do not let it happen. The protocol was, well, they pretty much jumped the gun on that one. And the legitimacy of the goal, I mean, I don't know. He could have been off, he could have been on. I don't know, but we will never know, like I said before, if that's the case or not, because the referee invalidated the play and thus pretty much invalidating VAR.
So you're thinking that Tuchel being furious at the end is justified?
It's understandable.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it's justified. I don't think that a coach can justify losing a match based on one play alone. He had a series of well, I was about to say something else, but he had a series of other miscues in the second half in particular that let Real Madrid get back into the game. He ended up dropping back a little too soon. He ended up bringing in Kim Min-jae to play as a left back, moves Masraoui over basically to play as a second right back alongside Joshua Kimmich because he could not control Vinicius Jr. But then you ended up having a team that had no ways to get out. He also took out Harry Kane. He also took out Musiala. He also took out Sané. Gnabry, of course, that's something that you can't do anything about. That was an injury. And so when you take out your main chips in offense, well, you better make sure that defensively you maintain some sort of solidity and an option to keep the defense honest on the other end. So that's the biggest fault for Thomas Tuchel in all of this. He wasn't able to manage the game well. And if he blames him winning or losing a match on an offside call, well, I think he's pretty off base there. Understandably, the frustration's there, but he has to also understand that there were other factors in play that, well, basically had Real Madrid come up with a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, and your narrative just now, I think, illustrated, Juan, something significant that happened today by way of the coaching impact on the game, because Thomas Tuchel's choices or his selection decisions or his substitute decisions didn't really impact the game positively for his team. Exactly the opposite for Ancelotti, whose substitutes positively impacted Real Madrid's performance.
Oh no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I was looking real quick at who came in and who came out. I mean, obviously the biggest impact happened to be Alphonso Davies, which was because of an injury in the first half, and he comes in and scores the goal, of course. Now, that's another thing too in this match for Bayern. If there's one thing that Harry Kane's missing this year, and Arsenal fans are going to go nuts over this, he's missing a Heung-min Son.
Yeah. I agree with that. Unfortunate for him, and he was actually off the field when the game slipped away from Bayern Munich. So
yeah.
I'm not sure how well he will sleep tonight.
I mean,
a quick word.
Yeah, I think he should sleep well because he's had a tremendous season.
Yeah,
everything else that's happened around him, well, he has no control over. He has no control on the way everyone behind him defends or the way the team around him ends up collapsing in certain instances. He's contributed. He's one of the leading goal scorers in the Bundesliga. He's one of the leading, he ended up tying today Erling Haaland, he ended up being the top goal scorer in the top goal scorer in the Champions League, in this campaign, I should say, not this match, but he ends up being amongst the top goal scorers. He ends up being a top one of the top assist makers in all of the Champions League. He's had a sensational season, so he has nothing that he can say, well, I could have done better. No, and of course the goal that ends up being scored by Alphonso Davies, in part, is Harry Kane sending the ball out wide to that left-hand side, and of course, Alphonso Davies doing the rest. Okay, well, since you think that Harry Kane can sleep tonight, do you think Manuel Neuer can sleep tonight? Because he was heading to be possibly the man of the match before he dropped the ball and Joselu made him pay for it. That's a different story. That's one where he's like, and that will haunt him for a few days, and there's no, that's a different one. I can't truly go and say, he did everything he could. Goalkeeping is just that nature. Goalkeeping ends up being that very ungrateful position where you can have 30 great saves, and that one that trickles through ends up being the one everyone remembers you for.
Yeah, well, Juan, today you were spot on. Yesterday you were spot on. So you're definitely on a roll. We're looking forward to chatting with you again. And this time it will be to talk about Borussia Dortmund against Real Madrid. I was about to say Bayern Munich.
And next week I'll have the winning lottery numbers just in case, okay?
All right. So be sure to message me first and we'll have that discussion off air. I want to thank you again, Juan. You're always readily available to chat with us here. So thank you and talk again soon.
All right, thanks for existing, guys. Later.
Yeah. Juan Giarango there, our football correspondent. It's break time.